What's up, guys? It's DMB Universe, and this is me after I got done watching episode 1 of part 5 anime of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Golden Wind. Let's just say I enjoyed it, and I'm gonna enjoy this entire series. But this isn't about this. This is a redirect, letting you guys know that in links in the description below, that you can go head over to BitChute and watch it. You know, just if you want. But I'm going to be doing these redirects as a way. At first, I was going to do this as a live stream type of thing. Talk about all the JoJo parts that I know. And say how they impacted me, what I really liked about them, my favorite things about it, so on and so forth. And I was going to do that in live stream, but then I realized that that's not really that good. Live streams are meant to be open-ended in a sense. I can have a topic, but I need to know that that topic's going to diverge very easily due to my subscriber base with their death battles and their reaction requests and stuff like that. So this is for people who are interested in my background with JoJo, and if you're not, hey, links in the description right there. Head off. Don't have to listen to this. So I'm going to start off with part 1 and head off all the way down to part 8 to where I am right now. And after I get done with episode 8, I'll start talking about all the villains of JoJo's one by one. And then I'll talk about all my main JoJo's one by one. And then I'll talk about all my side characters one by one. So if anyone's quote unquote worried that I'm going to run out of topics to talk about, because this is going to be a long anime after when the new openings and stuff start coming out. So I will have topics about particular things about JoJo, and I'll make things specifically about the various topics. So all of part 1 in a nutshell for me, go. Part 1, great introduction to this world that we're calling the Bizarre Adventure Universe. Universe 1, you could say too, later down the line in the parts. Part 1 introduced us to Jonathan Joestar. Jonathan, sadly, gets the shaft when it comes to the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure community, mostly because, well, he is the first, and unlike Goku, who was the first of his kind and is still relevant to this day of current Dragon Ball medium, Jonathan, and this is not because he's dead, this is not because he dies, Jonathan, frankly, is just not too good of a multifaceted character. He's the closest thing to a Gary Stu you can get without calling him a Gary Stu. He does everything. He masters the ripple in record time. He beats his opponents with little to no real repercussion to himself, other than particular fights that really impacted his entire journey, aka the sacrifice of Zeppeli and the final fight with Dio. So it goes to show that when it comes to Jonathan, he just did not have enough time, really. And plus part 1 is the shortest part of any JoJo part. So you also have that going against him as well. But in the end, it's an introduction to a lot of things that spiraled into this huge mess of greatness that we call JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. And I appreciate it for that. So after I got done rereading it for my, done rereading part 1, I got taken aback because I completely forgot how the style of part 1 was back in the day when Araki didn't want to do this whole upgrading of his times. Everything was Fist of the North Star in part 1 and even part 2, and started to deviate after part 3, and you could clearly see how prevalent things are. If I showed any image of main characters and posing that you see in part 1 or part 2 to my anatomy teacher, she would faint from how weirdly proportioned certain characters are. Don't even get her started with the Pillar Man. She almost that sort of thing. But we're not talking about that. Part 1 in general revolved around Jonathan's relationship with Dio and the introduction of one of the best villains of shonen kind, due to his personality and just his wide array of abilities that he got when he got in a vampire. See, I'm not good with vampires. I don't know vampires very well, but I'm almost entirely sure they're not fully capable of controlling their body temperature to the point of freezing other people's bodies and shooting space ripper stingy eyes and highly pressurized eye lasers. I'm almost entirely certain. I know Dracula. I don't remember Dracula doing any of those things, but hey, vampires in their universe could be completely different. Not to mention, they're the only vampires that really do that. So, Dio was the only vampire to really do that. So, so after introducing the best meme of all time, Kono Dioda, if I had to rate the entire part as a whole amongst the other parts, comparatively amongst the other parts, it's a 5 out of 10 comparatively on its own. And this was like the first thing that I was able to read regardless. I would definitely put it on the scale of a 7.9 to an 8, because there's a lot of problems with what I deem the relationship aspect in JoJo, and how it slowly but surely became better and better as JoJo parts went on. The relationship aspect, the overall journey, the villain itself, and their interaction with the hero's tale, and how the hero's supposed to progress. You know, I have lots of like writing sins since I'm a writer myself. And stuff like that. I created my own personal writing sins whenever I get into like a new movie, a new show. I look for these things, and hopefully they either put a new spin on it, avoid it, or do it in a way that makes it seem acceptable to me. And rarely does it actually do this. Rarely. And like the relationship aspect between Jonathan and Zeppeli is not as good as you could say Okuyasu, Josuke, and Koichi in part 4, Giorno and the rest of Passione in part 5, and especially don't get me started with Johnny Joestar and Gyro Zeppeli in part 7. Those 3 examples are like the quintessential better versions of the main character and the side character and their friendship. The mentor and student relationship that Zeppeli and Jonathan had was okay in the beginning, really started to build up, and then kind of smacked itself on the ground during the midway point of the series. And that was like the main downside to it. And then the other sin that I don't like is main characters getting buffs just because they need to get a buff. Like I've never really been a fan of that, and I can't defend it. I can't accept it there. I can't accept it anywhere, kind of thing. You can't just get a random buff for no discernible reason. I blame Naruto for this. I blame like certain parts of Dragon Ball for this. I blamed a lot of. Don't even start with Bleach when it comes to this. I feel like if they work for their power up, that's the best thing about it. So like it's like it's a stark difference. The only thing that almost made it acceptable to me was Zeppeli died afterwards. So it's like, instead of killing off Zeppeli and he had all this immense power that he can barely transfer and not transfer it to Johnny, of course he would do it, but it's still a buff because it's a buff. And then continuing down the line of Dio, I watched part 1 with Josh Goat, my roommate, and he thought it was hilarious how we had like random sessions, like we were gonna stop at a particular episode and then pick back up. And he found it hilarious that as soon as we were done and we got to the last episode, Dio gets defeated. So you see Dio get defeated. When he fights Jonathan in the manor, in the mansion, and then it's like, man, all right. And then we stopped, and then we came back next session. Then he gets his head chopped off. And then after that, next session, and then he's burning in a boat. It's like, okay, great. I think it was like that, or was it something else? I think I'm forgetting another like major fight. That I know the one with the other vampire guys that Dio resurrects and puts into his army, and stuff like that. But yeah. When it comes to like all that and what accumulates to be a pretty solid part and a good beginning to what's to come, all around, I can't think of any other better way to really articulate other than that. So as a general summary, and not really getting too much in depth with what I like about Johnny, what I like about Zeppeli, what I like about Dio, and I'll save that for other redirect based things. We'll just stop this here. So. Hope you guys enjoy part 5. Hopefully, and I'm gonna put this here. I'll put this here. If you guys want me to not talk about part 5 in the reactions, and so you can keep things spoiler free and experience the anime as is, because there's a lot of anime guys. There's a lot of anime guys when it comes to YouTubers and even my own friends that will watch JoJo. They're going into this knowing everything that's gonna happen. They're just happy to see it animated for the first time. So I can't really do that because, of course, there are people who actually do not know anything about part 5 and are anime only watchers, and they want to be completely and utterly spoiler free. And I did my best. I know I fumbled a little bit in the reaction, but if you want me to just go ham and go all out, tell me. If you want me to shut up and do my best to keep things only in a just no basis, I'll do that too. But I really want to watch this series and react to this series for you guys. And yeah, that's it. So this is Dual Meat Universe. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.